2, 1.
7 things you probably didn't know you need to know. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Smart 7.
Good morning, everybody. It's Monday the 23rd of January and it's National Handwriting Day. And a big happy birthday to Michael Fielding, Dorno Porter and Ewan Bremner. Former Chancellor of the Exchequer and current Conservative Party chairman Nadhim Zahawi found himself in the spotlight over his taxes once again this weekend. Newly reported revelations that he had to pay a big 7-figure settlement with HMRC raised a whole host of new questions. The Tory chairman claimed confusion over his father's shares led to what he called a careless error, and it wasn't deliberate. Dan Needle from Tax Policy Associates spoke to the BBC.
Do we think it's okay for someone, a senior politician, to try and sue people reporting that he hasn't paid his tax, deny that he hasn't paid his tax, then secretly run off to do a deal with HMRC, keep denying it while he's doing the deal, and then finally issue a half-baked admission long after he's been caught?
Meanwhile, Labour's called for an investigation into claims the chairman of the BBC helped set up a large loan guarantee for former Prime Minister Boris Johnson, with the party calling it a quagmire of sleaze. The Sunday Times reported that Richard Sharp assisted in the £800,000 deal for the former PM before he was given the top BBC job. Both men deny any wrongdoing. Foreign Secretary James Cleverly defended Boris and said Sharp was appointed on merit.
Anyone that looks at his CV can see he has a wealth of experience with large organisations. And of course, the fact of the matter is there are plenty of people who are or have been senior within the BBC who have a political link. So there's nothing wrong with that.
As the NHS faces more ambulance strikes on Monday, a former health secretary thinks he knows how to bring NHS waiting times down by getting us to pay to go to A&E or to see a doctor. Writing in the Times, Sajid Javid suggested a £20 fee for a visit to the GP and £66 for patients who go to emergency departments. Labour and the SNP have rejected that plan, whilst Downing Street said the Prime Minister was not currently considering it. And ahead of more strikes next month, the General Secretary of Unite, Sharon Graham, told Sky News why she thinks the government won't come to the table to negotiate over nurses' pay.
This employer, being the government, is not interested in doing a deal as far as the NHS is concerned. And I have to say, we are concluding now that there must be a much more sinister reason for this.
What do you think that reason is then?
Well, I think that they are looking to privatise the NHS.
Rishi Sunak previously said he's keen to have a constructive dialogue with unions. John Richards, the Assistant General Secretary for Unison, thinks the Chancellor could help settle all of this.
It was Jeremy Hunt who, as Health Secretary, negotiated a separate wage deal to solve things in 2015. He's now in the Treasury. He knows how to do this. He could solve this problem.
The man suspected of killing 10 people in a mass shooting near Los Angeles has been found dead. At least 10 more people were injured in the attack, which happened during Lunar New Year celebrations on Saturday night in the suburb of Monterey Park. Sunday afternoon saw SWAT teams close in on a van they thought contained the suspected shooter, while witnesses reported seeing a body in the driver's seat. Sheriff for Los Angeles County Robert Luna identified the gunman as Hugh Can Tran, a 72-year-old Asian man, and said the motive for the attack remains unclear.
Investigators conducted a search of the vehicle and determined the male inside the van was the mass shooting suspect. We still are not clear on the motive. The investigation continues, and that is something we are all extremely, we want to know. We want to know how something like this, something this awful can happen.
Jacinda Ardern's replacement's been confirmed. New Zealand's Education Minister Chris Hipkins will be the nation's next Prime Minister. The former Prime Minister surprised many last week when she resigned, saying she had no more left in the tank. Hipkins was the only candidate to enter the race and got the unanimous support of politicians from his Labour Party. The 44-year-old will have less than 8 months in the role before contesting a general election in October, but he said he was energised and excited by the challenge.
I've been humbled by the support shown by my colleagues, but also really excited by the focus and commitment that I have seen from them to make this a speedy and seamless transition in the best interests of all New Zealanders.
Still to come on the Smart 7, Joe Biden pops up on Saturday Night Live and Arsenal makes strides towards the Premier League title. Right after this. Welcome back. 3,
There were 3 games in the Premier League on Sunday with the top 3 teams all in action. At the Emirates, Eddie Nketiah's late goal gave Arsenal a 3-2 win against Man United. It helped to restore their advantage over Man City, who beat Wolves 3-0 earlier on Sunday, with Erling Haaland hitting his 4th hat-trick of the season. Meanwhile, Leeds drew 0-0 with Brentford to move a point clear of the relegation zone. And so Arsenal are back 5 points clear at the top of the Premier League, and manager Mikel Arteta says it was an important win.
Emotional, a lot of passion, a lot of quality. It doesn't get much better than that. After the derby away, to come here against this team and play the way we played against, the performance that we had all over the game, and especially in the second half, it was incredible. And to win it in that way, it just makes it even better.
Aubrey Plaza stepped in to host Saturday Night Live and relived her time as an NBC page during her college years, where she had to give tours of the studios. The White Lotus star explained how she'd hide in the storage cupboard when she was hungover. She also described herself as a normal person, saying people think she's weird because of the characters she plays. And during her opening monologue, Plaza revealed a special message from the president.
I was actually voted the most famous person from Delaware. I beat Joe Biden, and he was pissed. He was livid. Look at this video he sent me.
Aubrey, you're the most famous person out of Delaware, and there's no question about that. We're just grateful you made it out of White Lotus alive.
Aliens abducted my parents and now I feel kinda left out, sees an aspiring journalist study her new neighbour after he claims his parents were captured when he was young. It's 11, played by Emma Tremblay, thinks it could be the scoop that gets her into college. Also featuring Last Man on Earth's Will Forte and Lost star Elizabeth Mitchell, the first trailer for the new indie movie just dropped.
My name is Itzy Lovan. I'm 17. My dream job is to work at the New York Times as a journalist.
No. There's 2 new kids at school. Just tell us 3 things you think are choogy.
I wanted to invite you to enter into a writing competition with me.
The requirements are to write about the strangest thing in your hometown.
Not so much of a what, but a who.
Ooh, my nunchucks.
You can call me Captain Kipler.
You want me to write about that guy?
This has been The Smart 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great day.
Written, produced and published by Daft Doris.